Extra credit, written by What's Up Shannon. Chapter 3, Exposed. "Allison," he uttered, slowly turning his hand over. His other hand joined, almost cradling mine. "Whatever is going on in that head of yours, it can't happen," he said, his head shaking slightly. My brows furrowed with confusion. "Professor, I don't understand," I started. "Yes, you do, and I won't elaborate further," he said, still holding my hand as if to soften the blow. "I'm a lonely old man, and I cannot be tempted," he confirmed, gently setting my hand onto his desk. His foot pressed to the floor, allowing his chair to push back, creating space between us. His belly expanded and contracted with each breath. The particular button across the widest part held on the tightest. "You don't think I feel silly?" I asked him, standing from my seat. "You don't think me sitting across from you, getting easily distracted by you, isn't frustrating?" I bent down to pick up my backpack, swinging it over my shoulder. "I'll just drop the class and take the hit," I said, looking straight at him before turning toward the door. "Allison," he commanded, standing up immediately. His booming voice startled me, yet that undercurrent of authority and control made my insides buzz. I slowly turned to him. "Sit down," he demanded, pointing at the seat. I shut the door and sat back down forcefully. "Don't be childish. Don't wreck your academic career because of a silly crush," he said, almost as a jab. He shook his head, as if shaking off what he'd just said. "Right, because God forbid a student has a crush on you, right?" I asked sarcastically. "God forbid someone finds you, even if it's true, and a student has an interest in me, nothing, and I mean nothing, can come of it!" He was practically yelling now, his voice at a level comparable to one of his passionate lectures. He wasn't angry, he was frustrated. He was the push, and I was the pull. "God forbid you put societal rules above your own happiness," I retorted, crossing my arms. "I take my job seriously, and you should do the same," he said, wagging that bratwurst finger at me. "I do. I came here to get help for my grade," I argued, watching him roll his eyes. "You wanted to live out some dirty film fantasy, right? You college kids can't accept the concept of fantasy and reality. Dirty movies stay in your VCR, and you hide them away when company comes," he ranted, his hands moving in the air as if the gesticulation helped make his point even more. "Speaking from experience," I added, his eyes narrowing in response. "It's fantasy. A better grade in exchange for coital relations." He cleared his throat, still trying with every effort to avoid the subject. "What if it's not about the grade?" I stood up once again, my backpack still in hand. "Then what is it about?" he asked, his tone in a low gravel. "I was exposed to the gas when that cloud spread across town," I admitted. I might as well have been in a confessional booth. I had never admitted it to anyone, besides my family, of course. His eyes widened for a moment, his body adjusting, as if he wanted to stand. I don't know how much time I have," I mumbled, a hint of fear in my voice. His face was painted with shock, but it wasn't the same kind of shock as everyone else. Sure, seeing someone face their mortality straight on can shake you, but exposure to the cloud was a dime a dozen. His expression felt knowing. "Wait. So was I," he admitted, swallowing hard, his voice even lower, as if he had the slightest fear someone outside of this office could hear him. My eyes widened. "We were evacuating, and we were running low on gas, so He trailed off, as if looking back on a normal everyday decision, knowing that ended up being his demise. He shook his head. I immediately leaned in, wanting to comfort him in some way. His eyes watched my movements carefully. The boundary was still raised high. He eased back, guiding my hands away and back to my sides. I'm so sorry, I muttered. Learning my professor had the same meeting with death as I did shattered me. Why are you sorry? He said with a deflecting huff. I'm an old man. Death is supposed to come to me a lot sooner than you, he said, reaching into his desk drawer. You're far too young to worry about something like this. He revealed a box of Twinkies, releasing another treat from its cellophane wrapper. The way he spoke of his age, as if to create more separation between us. A divide. I am his student and he is my professor. A generation gap that could never connect us. Even from this rare exposure to the cloud. He wanted to make that clear to me, but all the lines were faded. He was trying desperately to draw the chalk against the sidewalk, to remind me of what our relationship should remain. Professional. I watched his mouth open as his teeth gently touched the Twinkie, slicing through it as the cream gushed from its spongy constraints. His tongue made short and small appearances between his lips to gather the leftover cream as he chewed. A little comfort snack to distract you? I asked knowingly. I didn't have lunch, he said sternly. So this is an appropriate replacement, I pushed further. I can't walk down to the cafeteria right now. I'm dealing with a stubborn student, he snapped, his fingers almost squeezing the cream from its opening. I quieted. You don't have someone at home to make sure you're fed, do you? I retorted, his eyes changed. I'm perfectly fed, he spat, gorging himself with another taste of the cake. Based on his earlier strain in the confines of his trousers, I would disagree. You don't have to lie to me, I coaxed. You don't have to be in my office, putting my career and your education in jeopardy. And yet here you are, he said, shoving the last bit of the Twinkie in his mouth. His cheeks puffed out as if he were a squirrel hoarding nuts and acorns. Professor, please, the words fell from my mouth. I couldn't believe I had resorted to begging. Maybe in a weird, kinky way he might like it. I'd seen other students beg him for a better grade, to retake an exam, to resubmit an essay, not even an ounce of negotiation. And I honestly didn't blame him. Why would he give himself more work? Him actually acknowledging me, letting me submit an extra credit assignment? Hell, I was being fueled by temptation as I sat here, battling my mortality just as he was. His hand quickly adjusted between his legs. He was practicing his barking, but I was the one biting. Was it my begging? Don't beg, he said, commanding. How's your Twinkie? I asked. But I wasn't referring to the one he had just tossed down his gullet. He nodded, not catching on at first. Then he froze. Allison, if you don't stop with this, I will have to report you, he reluctantly said. He knew what the situation was. He knew the amount of trouble he would get into if anyone had even witnessed a whisper of our conversation. But I would take it to my grave, and that would probably be soon. For him too.